So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are, and welcome to another interview of The Shield on a Couch. I'm your host, Hector, and tonight I'm joined by two members from the band Banishment, and they're a thrash metal band from, get this, Seattle. Yes, the capital of grunge has thrash metal, but remember, people, before grunge was a thing in the 90s, Queensryche was actually from Seattle and
That's
they were
right.
prog metal. So there's other music in Seattle. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots.
yeah.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
have two members from the band joining me, and we're going to talk about, they put out an album at the beginning of March called No More Torture. And uh, it's a great thrash metal album, and I don't want people to go under the radar because sometimes when there's so many releases. So we are gonna talk about the album and other stuff. So first of all, I have two members from the band. First of all, good night to both of you, and say your name and what you do in the band.
Okay. Yeah. I'm Brian Johnson, and I play guitar and scream into a microphone on occasion.
Yeah, I'm Jeremy McAllister, and I do the same thing.
So we have the lead singer from AC/DC, and we have someone from Home Alone with us.
Yes, yeah, yeah. This is my hobby of love. My paying gig is to keep out the wet bandits out of people's houses. So
So yeah, no, we were talking offline with Brian. Like I'm guessing sometimes, like when you go get, like, especially if you travel and you want to get like a reservation, like if you get like a true AC/DC fan, he'll be like, I'm Brian Johnson. I'm like, no, you're not Brian Johnson, but I am Brian Johnson. So
Yeah, I did it quite a bit actually, the Brian Johnson thing. Then and the other thing I get since my hair is long, I've been getting Dave Grohl. I've gotten when it was shorter, I've let Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback. I'm like, it's a bunch of nonsense. Like, you told us what you did earlier. So I mean, obviously the band is something that we're passionate about, but we've all got families and day jobs. Like I'm a director of health and safety for an environmental company. So that's, that, so kind of different, right? But then I play metal. And Jeremy?
yeah, yep. I do IT for a university as my day job, but I like to shred and I like to play music, and I've done it my whole damn life. So
Yeah.
And when I'm not interviewing bands, I'm interviewing regular people and looking at resumes the whole fucking day.
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Yeah, but I wouldn't tell my boss, but if I can get paid for YouTube as much as my job, I quit and
Oh
I
yeah.
will just do this because it's fun. But yeah, so Banishment. I was reading that you guys had a previous name, but you started anew with the name Banishment. Like, tell us a little bit about the history of the band, how you guys met and formed.
Yeah. The bigger history is a couple of us have been playing music together for a long time, even back further than the band that you're mentioning was Pen Red. So Jeremy and myself and the bass player of the band, Nate, we were in a band called Hell Promise back in the day, and put out a record and did a little bit of touring here and there on that. And then that kind of dissolved, and then we came back together as Pen Red. Jeremy wasn't in the band yet. We had some other members, a different drummer and a different guitar player, and those people moved on and did other things. And when Jeremy joined the band and our drummer Chris, it just kind of felt like it was changing. The sound was different, and Jeremy brought a whole bunch of different vibes to the music, and it was way better. And so I think we all just kind of sat around and go, hey, it's just a name. Let's just ditch the old name. Like, we don't need it. Let's start fresh. And that's kind of how Banishment started. I mean, if I played you the two bands, they don't sound anything alike. I mean, I guess the singer is the common thread that would make it sound similar. Other than that, it's two different things. And so I'm really glad we switched it up, changed the name, and it is what it is now. So
I did play one show with pinned red under that name, so I get to add it to my scratch on my bedpost and my notches on my bedpost.
Vanishment is a better name, plus it's one word.
Yeah, it's true. It's
It's one word, and oddly enough, not used by another band. Because when you're picking a band name,
that's hard.
It's really fucking hard to pick a band name that's not been used by someone else. That's not, we don't have to put parentheses US after a band name because there's another band in, Peru with the same name, or, we just we thought it sounded cool. It worked, and we lucked out because it is really, finding a band name is really hard.
Yeah.
There's like I'm trying to remember. There's some bands that you have the same name, and sometimes you get confused. The name.
Well, you just have to pick a dumb band name because it's the only one that's not taken, right? Like you just pick a random word and there's their band name. It's not a cool word, but you just have to use it because not everyone gets to use Slayer.
Tafacon was smart because there's a alternative band called Garbage, but not in Spanish, so it's different. Because garbage is what's inside the trash can, but this is
not the can itself. No one's interested in the shit inside the can. They want to know about the can.
And this band actually got to, a few years ago, there was a contest here because Metallica was playing, and they got to open for Metallica.
Whoa, that'd be pretty rad.
Which was huge. And it was funny because they dress as the clothes that they use is like garbage bin truck, like they're
it's like jumpsuit that's like orange or blue or something.
It's like green, and they played it. It was it was super cool for them. Cool.
Was that in San Juan, like in Puerto Rico? They played there, or was it?
They played. Actually, Metallica has played in Puerto Rico twice.
Twice
in San Juan. They had one of the biggest, the most tickets sold until then. Until Bad Bunny came around and he broke Metallica's record. But before that, it was Metallica's record because it's when they did that Death Magnetic tour that they had the middle of the stage was in the middle of the arena, so every seat was sold. It was pretty cool. So it was a good show. But
so what do you think of the record, the new one?
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned it. I'm gonna tell you what I think.
Okay.
I actually fucking bought it.
Yeah,
I bought the Walmart version. But here in Puerto Rico, we have a Walmart, but guess what? They didn't bring it, so I had to fucking buy it online.
What? They wouldn't have that album. That's going to be like one of the biggest albums of the year. That's crazy.
Yes, and I did a review for this, and I've seen reviews that say it's good, it's okay, and some that it's the worst thing. And I'm like, I gotta tell you, I was pretty.
It's not the worst thing they've done.
I was pretty surprised with this album. You know what I liked about this album? It sounded like they were having fun and they weren't trying to prove anything. And I think that's what I liked about it, because in the past, you could tell that they're trying to, like on Hardwire, they were trying too hard to maybe try to recapture something. And Death Magnetic, I liked it, but it was too compressed. And of course, Saint Anger sounds like shit.
That's the bad record.
Except
Lulu.
It's debatable. But is Lulu really a Metallica record or a
No, it's a Lou Reed project that what happened is probably they met Lou Reed at some fancy art party at Lars's house or something like that. They did a bunch of coke, and then they're like, we should do an album together. And we're like, we're nothing alike. You made an album, Metal Machine, so you're metal, like that, right? And they're like, sure, sounds great. And then the next day they're like, okay, shit, okay, are we gonna do this? Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
You made an album.
Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to listen to that record this week because I have a video that I do with some buddies of mine that it's called "Is It That Bad?" And we take a look at albums that have been banned, and we did like a poll, and Lulu won. We had Lulu, we had Judas Priest, Nostradamus. We had we said we were gonna cover we had an album by 6 Feet Under, which I can remember. That's coming in second. and we had an album by, which was the fourth one? I can't remember right now. So, but Lulu is winning, so we're gonna have to do that, where we listen to the record again, and we pick up the worst songs, and then we vote at the end, and we say, is it going in the trash can, yes or no?
I would think so.
So the next one you'll get to do is Ed Sheeran and Cradle of Filth. We'll see what that sounds like, huh? Maybe.
Do you know they're doing?
Did Ed Sheeran do a video with Cradle of Filth?
They're doing a song together, yeah.
Yeah, Ed Sheeran is buddies with Danny Phil. They're friends. They hang out all the time, drink beers. I think they live in the same town.
Weird, right? Weird.
I'm just trying to imagine what that's going to sound like.
Right?
I don't know. It could be sexy.
You never know, but yeah, I actually enjoyed this album a lot. Except when I saw the cover, I'm like, why the fuck is it yellow?
That's the thing. Everything's yellow.
It's one of the only major colors they haven't used for an album cover.
Yes.
The album is a different color.
Yeah,
I think it's bold, yellow. If you're gonna do yellow, you might as well go yellow and black.
I did an unboxing.
Oh, I love that vinyl. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's all yellow. And then I saw like a James Hetfield interview when he's saying that the yellow represents like the light, and you're trying to get to the light, and I'm like, yeah, he can get all philosophical. And then I thought he was gonna start talking about bees, like when he did in Joe Rogan, where he talked about bees for 30 fucking minutes.
He's a big bee guy.
He loves bees.
He raises bees.
Oh, bees.
Bees, like honey. Like
he puts a whole beekeeper outfit on and everything.
Yeah,
and walks around with that smoke and
yeah, he's a fucking natural dude. He's like self-sufficient.
He lives in
Colorado. Yeah, like outside of Vail in the mountains, like, and he's into bees. And he's the heavy metal redneck guy who's not dumb.
It would be funny to film him while he's like tendering the bees and just see how many times he says yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, you want some money?
Like, I'm telling you, if James Hetfield doesn't say yeah in 5 minutes, he dies.
You know what's crazy? Listen to the album. I don't think the album, the newest album. Does he say yeah?
You know what? You know what? I don't think I didn't hear a yeah in this album.
I don't think he says it. The entire album.
What do you think he's like trying to record? He's like,
I know, bro.
Don't say it.
He's probably self-conscious by now. People have probably the producers like, please do not say yeah. You say a lot of yeah. That's like his trademark.
That is, yeah.
That's my favorite vocals of his since like Injustice for All. Like maybe in Black Album, his vocals on that album are really good. Like on the newest one, 72 Seasons.
Yeah, it's
really straightforward, and he's got power, and it's like it's not over the top. He's just like, that's one thing I like about his vocals on Injustice for All. As far as like just straight up metal singer, it's just so good. So straightforward. You understand every word he's saying, but it's still tough, but it's not like over the top, death metal vocals where you don't know what they're saying, and it's not wimpy. It's not, but he's still got notes. He still can sing notes, but he says it with power and some grit behind it. And he went back to that, and his voice sounds a little, he's a cigar smoker, and I think maybe we should start smoking cigars, dude.
Yeah,
I pretty like them, but like I just don't do it a lot. But maybe get a
nice rasp.
Yeah, sound a little gravelly there.
Get that raspy voice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, actually, something that I liked about your record, your lead singer in some of the songs reminded me of John Bush from and Armored
Saint. We've said that numerous times.
Yes.
Absolutely.
When I was thinking it, I'm like, is this John fucking Bush?
I know, right? Yeah. He's even bald like John Bush too. It says,
I saw the video for what's the name of the second? I have it up here. The second track, Dismiss the Warning. Video, and he's got that bald look, and he's got like a hardcore look to him. But
he does,
the thrash metal. But yeah, like so talking about Anthrax, like which singer do you prefer in Anthrax? Are you a Joey
I'm a John
Belladonna
Bush
guy?
guy, Bard, like way more than Belladonna. And so like that's what my favorite Anthrax album is, sacrilege to say, but it's Sound of White Noise.
No, that's a good record.
Wait a minute. I have that one too. I
Yeah,
have
yeah,
that
that
one.
record.
Let me check
It's
if
good,
I find
dude.
it.
That's good. I didn't like his other stuff.
No, Stomp 442 or
No, but Sound of White Noise is killer.
Yeah,
Beginning to
great.
end. Beginning.
I used to have it on cassette.
Oh, I don't know where I put it.
Read
but
it on my skateboard, listen to my Walkman, just like I love that Sound of White
Yeah.
Noise album.
But that was a style, that was a change. I mean, what Anthrax was
Yeah.
doing there. I mean, but
But you know what? That was when I got into Anthrax actually in the 90s. And
Yeah.
the first song that I heard from them was Only. And,
oh, that's a great thing. Yeah.
and I thought it was
That's
a
really
great
good.
track. So I
Really
bought the vinyl. I don't know where I put it right now, but I bought the vinyl for them. The one, it's actually white. The vinyl is white. And yeah.
What?
Yeah, the
All
vinyl.
of the disc itself is white inside the black album. Right?
So I got to weigh in on this one because I love that record and I love John Bush. You know, some of the stuff he's done in Armored Saint and that it's killer. But I love Belladonna, man. He's got a classic voice, and as far as Anthrax records go, it's hard to beat Among the Living for me.
Yeah,
Persistence of
they
Time is
have
killer.
some good albums. I actually
Yeah,
saw Anthrax with Belladonna, and the guy doesn't fucking age.
No, and his voice is still good.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. There's a lot of singers they can't keep up, right? Like it's you know, in their older days they lose what they had, but Belladonna seems to be sticking in there, so pretty cool.
Yeah,
I like Bush grit.
Yeah, so
like
yeah, that's a
Bush's
great
voice.
album. Yeah, and something right now I'm seeing there's a lot of like 80s bands making a comeback. For example, Extreme has a new album coming out. And did you listen to that song Rise?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that guitar solo is insane. Nuno Betancourt's awesome. But
yeah, when I heard that solo, I'm like, oh my god, I haven't heard a solo.
We were talking,
yeah,
it's great.
It's like really, Van Halen level good. Yeah, it's real good.
It's really good.
Oh yeah, I was floored when I'm like, wow. I'm like, it's so great. Like people would say, are those the guys that used to sing more than words?
Right, totally.
Which, to their credit, if you can play that and have a #1 hit, play just the most beautiful acoustic song for the ladies, then also alternately, and the solo in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure when they're trashing shit in the mall, that's Nuno Betancourt.
Yeah, it's super cool, and you know what? More than words, even people can shit on it. It's a great ballad. And it's great because I've heard women that hate it because they're saying you have to do more than say I love you. So basically, what they were saying in some people is like, you gotta fuck me. Show me that you love me.
Brings it all the way back to the 80s hair metal thing. Is like, it's not just about romance.
Look at the wall there. I got Motley.
I see you have some great. You got the Motley Crue. I see is for all, and I see you have the latest from Municipal Waste.
Oh,
that's good. Love that.
I'm gonna go see them Monday in Seattle here with Carcass.
Oh, that's gonna be a good show. I actually saw them. They played in Puerto Rico a few years ago, and they're just there's just such an awesome live band. And like when you listen to Municipal Waste, like the Art of Partying, like it's like thrash metal to have fun. But there's thrash metal has made a total comeback in these years. There's like in the 2010s, you had your Warbringers, your Havoc.
Oh yeah, we played with them. They're killed. They're so good live, dude. Yeah. They're so good live.
Yeah, and like there's a band called Mantic Ritual. So yeah, there's been a comeback for thrash metal and in different places, and it's good because like a lot of bands from the 80s, they're coming to an end, so we need new thrash metal. So you guys being from Seattle, like what's the thrash metal scene there like?
Well, it's not so much thrash metal, honestly. I would say the prominent genre right now for metal is death metal in our area. and there's some really great bands, local bands. Blighted Eyes, one of them. La Cabra is another one, but there's a lot of death metal bands in our area right now. I don't think there's really anything like what we do in the area. I don't think.
No, not a bunch, but it's akin. Like we can play shows, you know, in the same vein, and it works great together. And it's, you know, but it is different. Like here, but it's not like in some parts in the U.S. where Five Finger Death Punch style metal or shit like that. Like it's.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It's actually good taste. So like you can go to shows here and you can see shit that's solid.
Yeah.
From opener to the closer, and it's local stuff, and all the bands are real good
and a little different.
Awesome. Yeah. If
a different
I meet a metalhead and they say that their favorite band is Five Finger Punch Drink or something, I'm like,
Five Finger Mom.
Or no.
Oh,
No.
Their last album was so bad.
I don't even try.
I don't even listen. It's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard.
He's so bad that I prefer to listen to Fred Durst singing Limp Bizkit than him, because at least it's fun.
I agree with this. Yeah,
I would agree.
Yeah, I'll listen to Break Stuff by Limp Bizkit any day over that.
I enjoyed the $3 Bill Y'all album more than Five Finger Death Punch.
And actually, Wes Borland,
he's a good guitar
player. He's a great fucking guitar player.
He is, for sure. Yeah.
Like he's got so much talent. See, this is the good thing about this. Like on my program, we can talk about other shit.
Oh, I love it. Yeah,
and not be like those serious, like they just go through the album. But
I got a question for you.
Of course.
New metal band or album that you actually like to this day still?
I love Follow the Leader by Korn.
Yeah,
and one of my favorite bands is Deftones. But to me, Deftones, they're not a new metal band. Maybe their first albums, but after that, they just went on another level.
They're like 90s alt rock. It's different.
They're different, man. They're good. I like
them too. White Pony.
I'm so obsessed with Chino Moreno that I may get a restraining order.
Whoa. So Deftones is your choice?
My choice
for new metal band or somewhat new metal?
To me, Deftones is not a new metal band. So I would say Follow the Leader by Korn, System of a Down, Toxicity. Those are great albums.
They're both good albums.
That have aged really well. And
I've never asked you this question. Jesus, man.
I know the answer to this.
Slipknot's first album's mine.
I have that one on vinyl as well. It's a great album.
Is Iowa by Slipknot new metal?
No, I think Iowa is where they went more heavier.
It's death metal, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I maybe the first Slipknot album might be my favorite new metal. You know what's crazy? I kind of like the Linkin Park Hybrid Theory album.
Oh, I love Linkin Park, the first
It's good.
Yeah, they're great.
I'll pick that. I'm going to go one. I'll pick that because great songwriting, good hooks. I don't know. I mean,
I don't know either.
I like the first Korn album's hella sick. Like the first.
Oh yeah. Well, I Follow the Leader records. It's cool. I like that.
Yeah,
hearing that for the first time, and I was like, the bass tone, the tuning. I was like, what is going on here, man? And actually an old band that I played with, we played with them before they were big. So it was like a hardcore show. It was I played in a hardcore band, and Sick of It All came through.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's the shirt here. And Orange 9mm and Korn. And we opened the show in Seattle, and it was packed. But when Korn came on, they were like, because they were all hardcore kids. They weren't just Sick of It All. Korn came on, and they were like, what is this?
They went down
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's good. You know, you were talking about the Seattle scene, and I figured, man, we got to mention a couple of bands that are, for me at least, highly influential from Seattle, like Sanctuary, which was the band before Nevermore, if you know Nevermore.
I know Nevermore, yeah.
Yeah. So that was Worrell, the singer's band before that. And Jeff Loomis was in that for a little bit. And then Nevermore, now Jeff Loomis is an arch enemy. Yeah, he was a Seattle guy. Like I used to work at Amazon back in the day. in the warehouse. That's where all musicians went, because you'd go on tour and you wouldn't get any money, and then you'd come home and you'd work at Amazon for a little while. And so we'd work there, and you'd see Jeff Loomis. He'd be there working, doing the same thing before he got big, and now he can make the living off playing music. But man, those bands, and we had a lot of great, thrash metal bands in this area. Our scene is like a roller coaster ride. Like, it goes up and down. Right now it's on the up, but sometimes it, back in, I don't know, even 5 years ago, it was not great for local bands. It seemed like it was hard. And it makes me think too. I wanted to have this conversation with promoters and be like, listen, the people that come through, and now all these tours go through, these package tours, are 5 bands on a bill, and it leaves no room for a local opener, right, on that. And I feel like that's doing a disservice to the local scene. Like, how if you love this band, a big metal band that's coming through town, and all the people go there to see them, but they don't go see any other bands, like, if you could open that show, it would just only make your local scene even that much better. Same for the band, like you were talking about, that opened for Metallica. I mean,
Yeah.
that was probably huge for them. They probably got people showing up to their shows now because they saw
People that
them.
never heard of them. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I feel like we could help each other out a little bit more in a local scene, where put a national tour comes through, and make sure there's a spot for a local opener, whoever it is, and give them exposure. And it's only going to help the clubs at the end, because the clubs, now you can have that band play, and now people will start showing up, and they'll buy tickets and buy drinks, and it just helps the scene all together, So I don't know, it's a thing that's been going through my mind lately.
Yeah, here in Puerto Rico, when we have like those small club shows, there's usually like free opening bands from Puerto Rico. And we have we have hardcore bands, we have ska bands, we have metal bands, black metal bands. Yeah, it's kind of hard, like a black metal band from Puerto Rico, and they're like like all evil and stuff, and like, I don't know, it's kind of hard being so mad when you live in paradise.
Yeah, nothing's cold and grim about living where it's fucking 80 and beautiful.
we've had some bad years here with hurricanes.
Oh yeah.
Earthquakes. So yeah, we've had it rough here too. So it's been a combination. I was actually living in Miami for a few years, but I moved back here. I hated Miami.
Yeah.
It's
nice place to visit, terrible place to live.
Miami's so plastic and
yeah.
And
just went there a couple
and
years ago.
You know what? I saw some metal bands from there in Miami, like local bands, and some were not that good.
Oh yeah, I can just imagine. Yeah. Our drummer actually used to live in Florida. He said his musical experience there was terrible. Like, like people weren't into the music, and it was weird. It's not like it's 1991 in Tampa, and the metal scene like that was huge. And Death, and one of my favorite bands.
Yeah, I actually interviewed a band from Tampa called Announce the Apocalypse. Pretty cool guy from Tampa, and he actually recorded where they recorded Def's album, and he used the engineer that worked on Def's album, and I'm like, that's awesome.
And more sound, or
more sound.
And they were having. He was having trouble finding a drummer for the band, but they finally found one. They're like a thrash metal band, so yeah, cool band, but with a longer name. But when we were discussing, like sometimes for thrash metal, like one word names is the way to go.
Yeah.
Even if the word is fucking sandwich. Like, you just need like a short word that, like, in a cool angular font, and that's all that matters, right? Like, if you're
like
beer and you're a thrash metal band, that's great.
We're sandwich.
Yeah, take a bite, motherfuckers.
So I want to show the artwork for your album, for Banishment. Here is the artwork for No More Torture. So yeah, it's when I looked at this album cover, I'm like, yeah, this looks thrash metal, the logo, everything, and it looks like a classic, like 80s to early 90s style cover. Like, were you going for that?
Yeah, I did all the graphics for the album, so like myself. So
is there something you don't do, man?
Yeah, I don't know.
No.
No.
Covers it all.
I'm a polymath. So like what I just wanted something bold, like bold, but not like, geometric lines and stuff. And so then we had a hard time coming up with the album title and stuff. And then I just wanted something that was like kind of, I don't know, big colors, but at the same time dark, high contrast. And we talked about we didn't have an album title for a while, and then I think our singer came up with or it was a line from a song, or Rob came up with it, No More Torture.
Yeah, it's a line from a song.
Yeah. And so I was always looking through the lyrics, trying to find inspiration for a lot of the album artwork and stuff, and that line stuck out, and I just wanted something that looked, I don't know, like design wise, like everything is very uniform. Like the earth is in the center. It's very centered. The logo is big and bright. The space background, like when I was first designing this, it was just a flat black background, too boring. It didn't look good. And so then we'd like, well, what's less than black but looks cool? And then I try like fucking galaxies and space and shit. And so then threw that behind it, and then it's like, oh, there's the earth and the lightning, and I always wanted to do like a Vanishment lightning logo with it, and so then it just kind of tied in, and it just creatively just trying to figure out what would work, and then came up with that, and then I just wanted something that looked like iconic, kind of classic, but at the same time, interesting, not too boring, but
no, and with the red, it actually looks like the earth is menstruating a little bit.
Oh yeah, it is. Big messy period.
Yeah. Oh my God, we're gonna get so bad. We're gonna get canceled. No.
Yeah. I actually tried like where all the lightning under the band logo and the earth and stuff was other colors, like lime green. I tried purple. I tried yellow, but the red.
Yes, it sticks
out
out
with the blue and the black just like popped, and the white, and there's, I don't know. I just wanted something that would just look like you get a disc and you're like, fuck yeah. And you look like, cool.
This is metal, old school thrash metal all the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool. So maybe for your second album, we should think of a name right now. Like
shit. You tell us, brother.
This would be your album title, the second album title. Your Banish, bitch. There you have.
That's great. That will sell. Fly off the shelf.
And you could just start the show like, you're Banish, and everyone will shout out, bitch. It's catchy as hell. So the album is really cool. It's 8 songs. It's 40 minutes. It flows well, and I didn't see a lot of people like talking about this album. And I listened to it, and that's a shame, because it's one of the cooler thrash metal albums that I heard this year so far.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, we don't really get out of the area. I mean, we do some stuff locally. Maybe we go to Oregon, which is just the state next to us. But when it comes down to it, I mean, we all got families and jobs, and it's it's hard for us to just drop everything. I mean, we're all in our mid 40s.
You remember that Anvil movie, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh my! You know that I actually interviewed Lips from Anvil.
Oh really?
It was a surreal experience. He was high through the whole fucking interview, and sometimes he went on a ramble. I'm like, so the album, and it's like, oh yeah, we're here to talk about an album.
Like, you had to get him back on track again. Like, oh yeah.
I had to get him back on track. Yeah. But yeah, it was interesting, and like, oh my, it's inspiring that they have like 20 or 18 albums, and they kept at it, and like they had years of no success. So I remember watching that documentary, and there's a part where they're in a show in Europe, and there's like 2 people in the show, And I felt bad watching that. I'm like, it feel like it's kind of a sad documentary. Have you ever seen
I think
that
if we
one?
went to Europe, there would not be two people.
The
Yeah.
one?
I think if we played in Europe, there wouldn't be two people. Yeah, that's rough. I watched that documentary and I felt so bad because, those guys are diehards and
Oh yeah.
tryhards, right? Like those guys, they got a sniff of success in like 1983, 84, and they've just been riding on it. But what have they done after the fact? And that's the part that's hard. Like you feel bad for them. I don't want to say it's like people like them because it's a pity, like pity, like I don't know. But what's the word in Spanish for pity? P-I-T-Y.
Well, we have a saying here in Puerto Rico, like where everything we say like "ay bendito."
Ay bendito.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, you lost a job. Ay bendito.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
oh,
Maybe
your
I'm gonna apply
girlfriend
to
or significant other is leaving you. Ay bendito.
ay bendito. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
just
I don't know. Yeah, that's pretty rough. But we may be middle-aged, but we play really hard every time we play.
I think
And we play like 18-year-olds when we're
we're
live.
all in our 40s, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I turned 46 tomorrow, actually.
44.
Congrats. I turned 46 in September, so yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, we've been playing, most of us been playing since we were teenagers. And so, I mean, music is, for me, it's always been, I mean, there was probably a time I was in a band called HIMSA for a while, and we really tried hard to do something. We practiced 5 days a week and did all that. And but the love for the music has always been there, right? I mean, the thought of, oh, we're going to be a huge band. I mean, I think we're all realistic, right? But if we can put out something and that people enjoy and like, that's still quality, then it's success in my mind. I mean, since the records come out, I've been shipping music to Brazil and Japan, and I'm like, I was kind of surprised. I was like, this is cool. Like, people are hearing about it. Somebody in different countries are really enjoying it, and to me, that's huge for where we're at, being basically a local band and being able to produce something that people are enjoying in different parts of the world is just awesome.
Yeah,
I
and if
will
you
take the
think about
Pepsi
it,
challenge against most bands, though. Like if we want to play, we'll hold our own against even the big boys.
Oh wow, jeez.
yeah, but if you think about it, every huge band started as a local band.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll say we don't suck.
No,
we're good, and we put on a live good show, and we play energetically, and we're not. This is not our first rodeo, right? Like we've been playing for a long time, and
so you can end the show like, boom, you've been banished.
Yeah, that's right.
Boom, wiped out, bitch.
You have been banished. So yeah. So for you guys, which song in the album is the one that you think is the most fun to play live?
Good question. I don't know.
I've got two.
I'd say the first one is, I like playing Severed Chord quite a bit. That's a fun song to play.
The title sounds very good.
Yeah. Severed Chord, it has like melody and hooks and stuff, but it's like a piston, right? It just, the whole song just never stops. Do 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 do, and it's heavy and it plays fast. And
ask our drummer, he'll tell you he plays double bass to pretty much the whole thing.
Like
he's like
4 minutes, 5 minutes straight. He's just dying. I really like playing Last Hope for Comfort live, only because the last 2 minutes of this, it's the last song on the No More Torture album.
Last Hope for Comfort.
Yeah. When we play that song live, the last end of the song, like, it's very different than the other songs on the album rhythmically, and it's, we know that. But when we get to the last like minute and a half, 2 minutes of the song live, it's heavy as shit. And it's simple to play, and we get into it, and it's super heavy, and we'll jump in the crowd and play, and it's heavy as fuck. And so it works good. But I think our best song off the album, But I like Lost Hope for Comfort, and I like Dismiss the Warning, and I like Door to Deceit. You know,
Door to Deceit's, yeah, and I don't know. It's
That's the
hard
one
to
that
be.
starts the album, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And then I've been really liking Forced Compliance. I think it's kind of a good mid-tempo song that has a little bit of an In Flames feel to it that I really like.
When you listen to that title, Forced Compliance, it sounds like a human resources term.
Yeah, you would know, dude.
Like you're like, did you
from your boss?
Did you sign your forced compliance?
Yeah. Yeah, at first when the singer Rob came up with the title, I was like, I don't know, man. Like, you know, I thought but he explained what the lyrics were about, what the song was about, and then it made more sense. And yeah, that song I do like because it's probably our simplest song as far as like, you know, it's just it's got a lot of hooks. It's got hooks and stuff, but then it's just headbanging the whole time and goes through. And that song's fun to play live because that's one of the songs we have where I don't have to think and I could just play and have a good time, and I don't really have to, you know, it's not too hard, but it's fun to play.
The record, it has, I mean, we wear our influences on our sleeve. I mean, right? I mean, if you listen to Door to Deceit, that first part, right? I mean, that's homage to Slayer, right? There's no doubt about that, you know?
Oh yeah, the first one, yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, but it's Slayer. I mean, what can you say? You know what I mean?
So, yeah, if we had to pick 5 bands that would influence us, it would be pretty apparent.
Yeah.
Like,
but I came from the hardcore scene back in the day, so I like that. So there's when you hear something that kind of there's a little bit of that mixed in there, and it's just a little bit of everybody in the band, which is really cool, and it somehow gels together, I think, and it works, you know.
Yeah, I mean, oddly enough, there's a very strong vein of 90s hardcore in the band, and the hardcore punk and stuff, and Northwest specifically had a specific style of that, and Rob would be 80s hardcore, but but you know, that would like there's that vein of like late 80s hardcore and metal and early 90s metal we just can't, like, you can't not do it, right? And that's kind of our main influences. That's where we came from. That's where we grew up with. And we just wanted to play what we liked and what we were into. And that's what we were into, right? We could have tried to, like, do you want to be a, like, modern technical death metal band, you know, with, you know, high production value? Yes, we could have done that. And that could have been what we did. We could have tried for that sound or whatever, and it would have been out of our element, and it would have been fine. But we just wanted to play what came natural and what we wanted to play. What, you know, music makes us stoked to play. Like, to me, like late 80s, early 90s thrash, early 90s hardcore. That shit gets me excited. It will for the rest of my life. And that's what I want to play because I found that music to be the most exciting, high energy kind of music there is. And
it's fun.
And thrash, and to me, thrash is like thrash, and especially like thrash that matures a step. That's my favorite kind of metal that there is. Like, you know, I love black metal, I love death metal, I love, you know, traditional, you know, power metal and heavy metal, and I love all that stuff. But to me, like the art form reaches peak with like the thrash that was like, you know, you can have thrash that's like maybe Exodus's first album, Bonded by Blood. You know, it's all energy, all about kicking ass and stuff. And then you can like pick it up a notch and go Master Puppets, Rust in Peace. Like where you're taking musicianship, lyrics, melody,
Rain in Blood.
Rain in Blood. Seasons of the Abyss. So you take these albums that like you can take that pure energy and then like, okay, we're gonna mature a step and we're like, actually we're good musicians and we're gonna write songs and we're gonna play good, and you know, everyone's playing is you can't fuck with, and the songs actually have melodies and vocals, and you know, you're getting up to that like pop music quality of, vocals and production, but you're like, but it's not that, but it's ass kicking and it's, technical progressive thrash. That to me is like the highest level of like what metal has ever contributed in music. You can have death metal and stuff and it's cool, but like the real fucking big thrash of the late 80s, early 90s is like when I think metal hit its like peak, a contribution.
So I'll have a question that I'll just to the group here. How about this? Because it's gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be a tough one.
All right, let's do it.
So top three
metal albums,
thrash metal bands.
Ooh, top three thrash metal bands.
You go first.
Top three thrash metal bands. So
thrash. Has to be thrash.
Has to be thrash.
Yeah.
So Megadeth. I love Megadeth. I think they're awesome. Obviously Metallica. Obviously early Metallica with the thrash. And you know what? I'm not going in any order here.
No, it's okay.
I like Slayer, but I think that I actually like Anthrax better.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
That's a hot take, bro.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people might be like, "What?" But I actually enjoy more albums from Anthrax than Slayer, and for Slayer, I never got to see Slayer live. They were going to play in Puerto Rico apparently in October 31st of 2016. This promoter said, check this out. It was going to be Slipknot and Slayer apparently. But when it got closer to, and they announced this on a Megadeth show, but when it was getting closer to release date, they weren't doing like promos, and a lot of people went on the internet, and that day that supposedly the concert was going to be, Slipknot was having a concert in Australia. And everyone was like, Australia and Puerto Rico are really fucking far away. How are we going to get there? And then apparently, so they announced a show without booking the band. And Slayer, and apparently Slayer, they were offering too much money, and Slayer said, you know what, this is a problem, and they backed out.
Oh, that sucks, man.
And I never got to see them. Then they retired, and I had the ticket. I remember I posted it on Facebook like, hey, I'm selling this ticket.
But Slipknot was already signed to, because honestly, like Slipknot is the bigger band.
In Puerto Rico, like what I try to call like the true metalheads, like we're true. They'll say like, no, Slipknot is not true metal.
No, they're way bigger draw.
Yeah, right now, they are.
Slipknot is huge.
They are huge.
I would say that like Slipknot is probably the number 2 or 3 metal band in the world.
Oh, right now, yeah. Like,
as far as like draw and concerts, like you have Metallica's number 1. Like they can play anywhere they want, any continent.
50, I would say second would be like an Iron Maiden. Like
Iron Maiden would be number 2, and Slipknot would be number 3.
And number 4, I would dare say Rammstein.
Yes, they're huge. They play huge
and
shows.
I actually saw Rammstein live. It's the best concert I've seen in my life. I'm telling you.
Yeah, they're good. I saw them once too, and I blew my mind. They were killer.
They put out a show, and of course the German language, they sound like they're always mad at you.
Yeah, it's rough.
But it's awesome. So
they're good live. They're really good. I was not a big Rammstein fan ever, and I went and saw them live, and they were killer. They had a killer show, killer stage, heavy as fuck sound, and they were great.
Because they light themselves on fire. Like,
yeah, they were. When I saw them, they were hitting each other with like fluorescent light tubes, and like they had these things, and they were like smashing them against each other and stuff. And they play, and they had these like pyrotechnics and fire and shit.
On the concert I saw them,
it was wild.
They finished.
Their sound was huge.
Yeah,
they had their guitar. It was heavy as shit. Heavy.
They're very heavy. And I remember the show I went to. They finished with the song "Pussy," and the Till Lindemann, he wrote like a huge dick that started like spraying people.
Sounds like Guar.
Yeah, they're wild. They're wild, dude. But they got big.
Oh no, no,
following.
they're like I'm telling you, if you've never seen Rammstein live, even if you're not a huge fan of the music, I'm telling you, go see them. They put out an amazing show. I did a video for the channel with a friend of mine where we talk about top 5 concerts, and that was one of the concerts that we talked about. And she had seen Nine Inch Nails, which I haven't seen, and she told me Nine Inch Nails is another band.
Also good. Also good. I saw them too. They're also very, 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 very good live. I didn't expect it, and they were incredible.
Yeah. So guys, you know, like I think we could be here like 3 hours talking.
Oh yeah.
About
Yeah, you're a cool dude, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it would be totally fun. But people, please, the Banishment album is already out. What type of copies do you have for the album? If
CDs and cassettes, and then obviously digital on every streaming platform.
Yeah. If you want vinyl, give the band more money because vinyl is expensive.
We've been talking about it. It is expensive, and the wait
Oh
time is like 6 months to try to get it. So
and just imagine that you wait 6 months, you put it out, and people will fucking buy it, and you'll be like, "Why the?"
Right? Why did we spend all that money on that? Yeah, that's what we just had this conversation last night.
Literally last band.
Yeah,
why is it so expensive?
Not everyone can be like Metallica. That
Yeah, true.
Like vinyl plant, because you know they have like probably James Hetfield has like $1 million in his trouser.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had to buy their own record pressing plant because they were probably tired of dealing with the bullshit of trying to like, can you make enough records for us companies?
Yeah.
And like,
it's all Adele's fault.
Who?
Adele's fault because
yeah, I've heard that. I've heard it. I've heard this before.
Yeah, because when Adele put out her last album, she made so many copies that a lot of like other bands like
it would delay their album release by like months.
Oh wow.
And you know what? I bought that album and it fucking sucks.
Yeah. If you want to hear breathy middle-aged ladies singing about heartbreak, you can just hang out with us sometime.
Oh my god. No, I remember I bought that for my ex-wife, and when we listened to that
at your divorce hearing, did you buy her an Adele album?
I bought her. No, that's not why we divorced. I'm like, reasons for the divorce. He bought me this crappy album. No. But that album, when we bought it, she was more excited to listen to it, and she even said it sucked. There's a song in there where like literally she's like talking to her kid for 2 minutes crying, and I'm like, really? Do we need 2 minutes of this? Like, oh, it's
wow.
Yeah, we don't need that.
And all the critics in Rolling Stones were like, this is her most precious album. And I did a video. This was when the channel was new, and I did a video called like biggest disappointment of the year, and I put meh, and I had like the Adele album on my hand, and I guess I didn't have to interview Adele because I would have to tell her, oh, that album sucked. But yeah, she made so many vinyls that it like other bands couldn't do it. So I think, you know, if you're Metallica, what they did, it's like more power to them. They have their own record label now. They have their own vinyl pressing, and I don't care what
they own their own masters for every album they've ever made.
Yeah,
they're very smart.
They're very smart. Yeah, and so I don't care like what some critics say that, oh, this album is bad. No, this album is actually good. So
it's really good.
I don't care what they say. So people, I'm gonna put the links for Banishment so they can go the band camps. If you know, they have that band camp Friday where they can. And do you have like other merch like shirts?
Oh yeah. Just go on our Bandcamp page. We put all our merch on there.
Yeah, I'll put all that.
We're adding stuff all the time. So
yeah, and you heard it here on the Shield on a Couch. The next album is gonna be called Your Banish, bitch.
Hey, if you ever need a couple of like guest people for your one of your roundtables where you're like talking about records and throwing them in the trash, let us know, man.
I'll let you guys know. We'll coordinate. Actually, yeah, it isn't that bad series, but the bad thing is like we do like really early my time, so you guys are gonna be.
No, it's okay. We get up early. We're
You
old.
will have to pick a time and an album to dissect because it's really fun to like go back and albums in time. And
I'd love to do it. Call us up.
Yeah.
yeah, the last one we did was for Limp Bizkit. The one was the Results May Vary. And I said on that, you know what? Even though this album is not that great, it has one of my favorite songs from them, which is Eat You Alive.
I don't know. Yeah.
It's a great track, but yeah, the rest of the album not so much. But people, Vanishment, they're a thrash metal band from Seattle. They just released the album in March. It's called No More Torture, and you please support local bands, newer thrash metal bands, so they can go and tour. And I'm telling you guys, if you tour in Puerto Rico, we're gonna go out and have some beers and have some fun.
Sounds great.
Love it.
Would love it.
Yep.
Yeah. So people, until next time, this is Hector, the Shield on a Couch, and I'll see you all right here on the couch. Thank you.
Adios.
And good night.